Tawana?
I'm
Okay.
gonna stand back there, like beside the couch.
Okay.
Alright. Hi, today I want to talk to everyone about restorative justice. Howard Zinn, author of the Little Book of Restorative Justice, said, "Retributive theory believes that pain will vindicate, but in practice that often is counterproductive for the victim and the offender." Restorative justice theory, on the other hand, argues that what truly vindicates is acknowledgement of the victim's harms and needs, combined with an active effort to encourage offenders to take responsibility, make right the wrongs, and address the cause of their behavior. In our current criminal system, there are over 6.7 million adults incarcerated, on parole or on probation. Research shows that instead of lowering crime, incarceration often causes nonviolent offenders to become violent criminals, often with repeated returns to prison. Restorative justice is a social movement and a set of practices that aim to redirect the retributive process in our society. So what is restorative justice? Restorative justice is the justice theory that focuses on repairing the harm created by criminal acts. It is accomplished by participation of all stakeholders, victims, offenders, and others. The results can be transformational. Programs reflecting restorative justice respond to criminal behavior by 1, identifying ways to repair harm and taking action to do so. 2, including all stakeholders. And 3, changing the standard relationship among government and communities on how to respond to criminal behavior. Restorative justice can also be described by its values: peaceful social life, respect, solidarity, and active responsibility. Let's define these values. The first value mentioned is peaceful social life. This value underscores the importance of resolution when conflict arises that gives special consideration to the emotional and physical safety of those affected by the harm. Respect is the next normative value. All individuals treated are worthy of care and consideration. Next comes solidarity. This value refers to feelings of connectedness and support among individuals of a community or group. And lastly, active responsibility. This means that those responsible take action to make amends for the harm that has been done. There are numerous programs associated with restorative justice: victim offender mediation, circles, and conferencing. These programs utilize processes to repair harm caused by criminal acts. Victim offender mediation programs bring trained professionals, victims, and offenders together to address the crime, the consequences, what action is needed to repair the harm. Circles utilize the same process as victim offender mediation, but are different in that they include community members, family members, and government officials. Conferencing is also similar to victim offender mediation, but is more closely linked to the criminal justice system. Conferencing often includes families, social welfare advocates, attorneys, police, community support, as well as the victim and offender. Conferencing is often used with many groups of individuals with juvenile offenders to show care for him or her. Restorative justice has multiple benefits, which include a substantial reduction in repeat offending, though not for all. A reduction in repeat offending in prison for both adults and youth. It reduces the cost when used as a diversion in criminal justice, and it alleviates the victim's trauma and desire for revenge against perpetrators. To sum up, we have discussed that restorative justice is what supportive justice is, as well as values, programs, and benefits of restorative justice. The key point to remember is that restorative justice focuses on repairing the harm of criminal acts and is accessible through all stakeholders participating in all processes. Howard Zinn stated, by addressing the need for vindication in a positive way, restorative justice has the potential to affirm both victim and offender, helping them to transform their lives. In conclusion, restorative justice shows positive outcomes through healing for the victims, repairing harm for the offenders, safety for the communities, and reduces costs for criminal justice and government. The primary aim is that of healing. If the victim receives proper material and emotional reparations, the offender is able to reconcile with the victim. When this occurs, the offender is more likely to be reintegrated into society, as the harmony of the community